will refrain from making any comment on the approach.
So we get
Just wanted to provide the information to you.
And
Dr. Hargis,
When are these dollars available?
The state is submitting the overall detailed scope of work. I believe it's due to the Federal Department of Education by November 22nd. And we're anticipating the funding flowing back to the LEAs in December.
That money becomes available to us in December. How can we expend as much as we choose to within any given year, or we restrict?
Yes, there is no limit. It can be expended however we choose, and as we've given you the overall framework of a budget, we will develop annual budgets.
Does it make sense that we try to withhold as many dollars as we can to prepare for next year's anticipated budget reduction?
Well, the issue with this, and going back to what we presented on the 19th, this funding,
We might lose it.
Yeah, we'll lose it.
It's very designated.
this funding cannot be used to make up any of the budget shortfalls that we're facing. It's not a tool. The education job funding is a tool that we can use to cover coming year shortfalls. This funding is not.
So what David has done on this sheet, what we've done is we describe the plan to you, so it just overlays the dollars in the plan, including what he talked about is the 2.1 million in the cloud, so that you can see our total dollar amount that we have to account for in our plan. So it just puts the two things together. So the plan hasn't changed from what we described to you at the last session.
You had talked about the last one, the Renaissance, in the Renaissance model, you talked about the Renaissance schools. I think you mentioned 4, but you didn't identify them. I'm not asking you to identify those schools now, but I think you were saying that some of them you had not talked with the administration yet and gotten their approval, right? So have you?
Actually, the area
Are they all on board now?
yes, the area superintendents and I met with the school leadership, and they actually described to the staff that they were part of this immediately after we discussed it with you. So, so those schools are aware, and they're certainly aware that they fall below 60% proficient. So.
All 4 have agreed to serve as in this pilot.
Well, and actually, we didn't ask them if they wanted to. We presented the plan as the 4 schools that are below 60% are the schools that we would focus on for the Renaissance model. So we didn't ask them. We devised a plan to support schools below 60%. That's correct.
Not a part of the ask because you want to know.
So that actually, like I said, we just want to make sure that you're very clear about the dollar amount. When you hear the dollar amount, since we talked about spending 10.2 million, that you understand where the 12.3 million is and how part of it is in the cloud. So that's really the reason that we wanted to come and make sure that you understood that. Then Mr. Margiotta, the next item, this is something that we don't expect any direction on. I just want to make sure that you're aware that the State Board of Education on October 7th voted to end the state-required performance gateways. So basically what they said is the end of grade test, being proficient at it isn't the gateway to promotion. And likewise, the Big 5 end of course tests that remember were a graduation requirement to graduate. The State Board of Education said effective in the 10-11 school year, those are no longer a graduation requirement. But what we wanted to do is have you start thinking about that, because it really is up to you as a board to set the standard for Wake County Public Schools. So you can adopt what the State Board of Education agreed to, or you can make the standards more strict. So you as a board could decide to require it, passing the test as a graduation requirement. So what we wanted to do, our only option today is to bring the issue in front of you. We'd like to bring it back next Tuesday so that you have time, as Mr. Hill described, to actually discuss it. But it is up to the local board to set a standard or a more strict requirement. So we just wanna make sure that it's on your radar screen as we needing direction from you as a board.
John?
While on a personal level, from my understanding, it's even higher than the state in some cases. When I watched some of those discussions and why they chose to move away from that, some of those points are very valid. And I think it would be good for our colleagues here to have an understanding of why the state chose to move away from that when you bring that back to us.
Absolutely.
So we can at least see what was their motivation, why they didn't think those particular criteria were as valuable. They expressed specifically some challenges around that, and I think it would be beneficial for my colleagues to understand if we want to keep that ourselves.
Dear Ms. Payne and Broughton faculty and staff, since the beginning, I have viewed the faculty and staff wherever we were as being part of our educational team. Having lived in many places with the normal progression of school, we have of course had many team members come and go. I want to take this moment to thank the Broughton team members for your many contributions to Ashley's educational experience and development. As we face this important crossroad of college education, know that Ashley has been well prepared by the choices we now have before us. She has been accepted to Duke, Emory, UNC Chapel Hill, Boston University, UMBC, and Stone. It looks like we will have a blue day. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank those who helped to build foundations, challenge the mind, spurred creativity, and forced taking a different look at the world. From National Honor Society to Service Club to Mr. Dubois' long-term approach to teaching French. From the governor's school experience to the challenge of our first AP course with Ms. Ford, to learning that she could have a voice via the executive cabinet, principals advisory council, and school improvement committee, to the camaraderie and teamwork taught at CAPS Camp. Ashley has been able to thrive while at Broughton, and that is what I expected of the student. She is poised, confident, and ready to tackle the world. Ashley went on to graduate with honors from Duke University and is now in her third year of law school at Cornell University. Nothing is perfect. Broughton High School was not our first or even our second choice, but it did deliver the foundation that was necessary. Change is inevitable. As you formulate what changes you will undertake, I encourage you to ensure that the final model ensures that all children are afforded the same educational opportunities that my daughters have. Thank you for your time and attention. If you'd like to read the entire letter, I have a few extra copies. Thank you.
On October 5th, Mr. Tedesco made a mocking comment regarding Ms. Goldman's support of women with breast cancer who are currently undergoing treatment. When I see that clip on WRAL, I add 10 points to my blood pressure. I normally do not identify myself as a survivor. So I admire Ms. Goldman for being willing to be so public. I wonder how Ms. Goldman's children, who are students in the Wake County Public School System, felt about their mother being called names. I wonder how other students whose mothers have been through breast cancer treatment felt about Mr. Tedesco's Miss Pinky Hairdo comment. I am confused as to how calling Ms. Goldman's name demonstrates a zeal for students. Wake County Public School does not do a very good job of helping students in crisis. Parents going through a divorce, death in a family, or a family illness. Other school systems have established programs to help children cope, but Wake County has no program to assist students in crisis. I went through my treatment when my son was in the 3rd grade, and his academic performance was affected. Actually, I had to get a tutor to help him. It was a lot for a 9-year-old to cope with. As a member of the Student Achievement Committee, should Mr. Tedesco not be looking for ways to support students whose mothers are going through breast cancer treatment instead of calling Ms. Goldman names for showing her support?